Hello, Missy Hoo Hoo.
Hello.
Hey, girl. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I got home. I checked on my patient. I threw dinner in the oven. Here I am.
Checked on your face. Your hair looks so good, dark.
Oh, thanks. I'm liking it too. I'm super worried. Ever since I had COVID, my hair has like turned super gray. Like super, super gray. Like I woke up one morning and my whole like part was gray. Like I kid you not, I would be totally gray if my hair was not colored. So when she did it, I'm like, I'm super worried about the grow out. So I got myself some nifty root touch up to use in between hair days. Yeah. I'm like, I'm too young for this.
Or does it like just kind of re-dye it?
It's like I think the brand's L'Oreal maybe, and it's like it says it's permanent hair color, but it's like root touch up stuff.
Huh. To raise, hey, whatever we got to do.
I don't know. I'm kind of scared to use it.
Well, it's so pretty. That color is so pretty on your skin.
Thanks. It's pretty close to my natural color, so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Your natural hair color is probably pretty dark. Hey, I made you host, by the way, to admit people.
That
Yeah.
would
see
be
that?
hard since I can't remember what my natural
Yes, I
color
see that.
is.
I'm getting there.
You just got to guess, Kimberly. You just got to guess.
Right now, this is the natural color, and I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Just get some of that L'Oreal stuff that Kelsey has.
It's in the bathroom. I just have to go in there and put it in my
Yeah.
hair.
There you go.
Touch up.
Group touch up. Yep. Sorry, guys. I'll be driving home for the first 10 minutes of the call. One of my sons had practice a little ways away, and I got him out early before it ended, but not early enough. So,
You need to put a stamp on that sweet little girl and mail her to me.
oh my gosh, some days I would. She is such a mess. But I will say, of all three kids, I don't know if it's because she's the third, she is the easiest kid. Like, she doesn't throw
I'm gonna let
tantrums.
you.
She
I'm gonna go in
doesn't.
there and
I
watch
mean,
it because they're.
That face, I could give her anything she wanted. She just has to smile at me.
you would too. You would do that. But Kelsey, you may have to mute some people. By the way, I can't. I don't know if I can do that.
I tried, but I couldn't mute them. But I think Kelsey should be able to.
Nothing wrong with that. I just love my hair. Can't hear now.
Dog's
Okay, I got
barking.
it.
Nice.
Okay, that should have worked.
Okay, it is 8 o'clock and we aren't going to waste any of your time. Like I said, I'll be, can you hear my son's, Lincoln, turn that down just a little bit. I'll be in the car for the first 10 minutes of the call. So I won't be looking at you. I'm looking at the road, but I will be talking to you. But I am Jacquelyn Roy, one of your superstar directors, if you're on this call, most likely. But Kelsey Smith and I and Shonda Clayton and Karma Woods all do this every Monday except for the last Monday of the month. So next Monday, we will not have a Mindset Monday, just FYI. We will resume the following Monday. But we did this as we can have 30 minutes of your time on Monday to kind of start your week off right and hopefully give you a little bit of Scentsy motivation and get your headspace right for the rest of the week. Because Mondays can be a drab, but honestly, we've done this for so long now that it's a habit, but it's also, I look forward to it. I know Kelsey and Karma and Shonda are the same way. I look forward to Mondays to get to see you guys and talk to you guys and hear your ideas. And so for me, I know this call has been really beneficial just for my soul. So I hope it has been for you too. Tonight, I want to talk about something that we haven't talked about in a while on Mindset Monday, but it's all about your story and why it's important. And, you know, I was talking with, this is what gave me the thought of doing this. I was talking with one of my consultants last week on a one-on-one, and I asked her if she had made a recruiting postcards yet, because she's really wanting to start recruiting. And I said, you need to put your story on paper, and you need to put it on your gift bags and your catalogs and on your, make sure your personal website's updated. And she said, well, my story is not very good. She said, you know, I only make like $100 and $200 a month. And I don't really have that much of a story. And I said, girlfriend, $100 to $200 a month, that is at least 2 or 3 gas fill-ups. That's huge for some people. Some people literally at the end of each paycheck are living off of $30, $40 for 4 or 5 days, hoping they don't have to fill up. You know, $100 to $200 could really alleviate a lot of stress for people right now. You have a big story. And I said, your story may be more powerful than mine, because if you do Scentsy, so, you know, you can fill up your tank of gas and it can pay for your cell phone bill. That may catch people's attention more than my story and why I do Scentsy. I said, honey, your story is very powerful. So I helped to write it up. And I said, you know, a couple keys to your story is you want to be relatable. So I always say you need to put, you know, your name and, you know, your a little bit about your family. You have 2 kids, 3 kids, 0 kids, 2 pets, whatever it may be. You either used to be a teacher, a nurse, you currently are, because I do think that actually helps drive people to, oh, well, I'm a nurse too, or yeah, I used to be a teacher too, or this and that, or I'm a stay-at-home mom and she's a stay-at-home mom. That's really cool. And so I said, you need to put a little bit about your family, a little about yourself, but a lot about why you do Scentsy. And she's like, okay, so like a sentence or 2 about each, and then a couple sentences about Scentsy. I said, that's perfect. So we started writing our story, and she asked, she said, should I put in there that I just do it for a couple $100 a month? And I said, no, put in there what you use it for. What did you use Scentsy for last month? And she said, well, I used it for gas and I used it for groceries and it paid for part of my cell phone bill. I said, okay, we'll put that in there. That's very powerful. If I were to go on your website and I would have been looking for someone to join, and I might read that, hey, Susie Q used her last paycheck to pay for X, Y, and Z. I could use my last paycheck to pay for X, Y, Z. I see that she is a retired teacher. Well, I used to teach. So just add as many adjectives and as many like just personal touches to your story as you can. That's going to get interest and captivate people more than just saying, you know, my story is not done yet, but it would be interesting if it was done. Because if you don't have a story on your personal website, that is what it says. So if you haven't updated your story in a while, if you've never even put a story on your website, you need to do that ASAP. You can do that by going to your accounts tab, going down to your personal website, edit it, add a story, add a picture. I think it's one of the most off-putting things when I go to, say, a downline website and I see a warmer as their picture on their website. That's not personable. Put your picture, put your family, put something that when someone goes to your website, they're like, oh man, Kelsey's hair looks really cute, dark, and I have dark hair. Well, I like that. I'm going to join underneath her. You know, so put a picture on your website, either of your grandkids, your kids, you put something on there that they can relate to. So we did that. The next thing I would encourage you guys to do is to tell your story. If you've never told your story on social media, if you've never shared your story, practice it with your spouse or your kids, but share your story. We were at the ball fields this last weekend, no surprise, and we had picked up 2 kids from another Mojo team. And one of the moms, I was talking with her, and she was telling me about her son, because he was huge. He was a pickup player that we got. He was a big kid. He was way bigger than any of our kids. And I was like, man, does he play football? And she said, no, he's got hemophilia disease. So that means if he gets hit or cut, he can bleed out and die. He doesn't produce platelets. So we started chit-chatting about that. And I started asking her questions. And she was like, are you a nurse? And I said, well, I was a nurse. And she said, what kind? I said, ICU. And I said, but you know, now I just do Scentsy. I don't know if you've ever heard of Scentsy, but I've done that for a long time, just Scentsy. And I was able to quit my nursing job and stay at home with my 3 babies and help raise them. And here I am starting to share my story. And she was like, oh, wow, so you do good with it? And I said, yeah, I do pretty good. I absolutely love it. I love what I do. I love not having a boss. I love, you know, working for myself. And so, but then I said, so what do you do? And she said, well, she said, I work in marketing. And she said, I do that, but I work mainly from home. And I said, awesome. Do you love that? She said, yeah, I get a little bored sometimes. So, you know, my radar is going up like, oh my gosh, she just said she's getting a little bit bored. So I start sharing more of my story. And I just started saying, you know, marketers, you know, do really well with Scentsy. And, you know, for me, it was something fun to do when I was done with my nursing shift. Have you ever thought about, you know, kind of doing something on the side that would complement your other job? And she said, no, I really hadn't thought about that. I said, so we just got to chit chat, and I give her a catalog. I give her a recruiting postcard. But your story is powerful. And no, I did not tell her I was a superstar director. She doesn't care. That doesn't matter. She doesn't care how much money I make. She didn't ask me. She didn't care that, you know, I have X amount of people underneath me, or that when I got my last recruit, or how big my last party was. She didn't care about any of that. It was just me sharing tidbits of my story. And that's something that you guys need to start doing if you're not. Share your story and ask questions, but more importantly, make sure your personal website is updated. Make sure on all my catalogs, which I'm going to upload these onto the Mindset Monday Facebook page. So if you guys are not on the Mindset Monday Facebook page, it's a page where you can't post. No one can post. It's not a separate team page. Only Kelsey, Karma, Shonda, and I can post, but any materials that we talk about on Zoom, we will post on that Facebook page. So I'm going to post my labels that I put on all my catalogs, and it has my story on it. So every time I hand out a catalog, people get to read my story. And I don't know if you've ever done something like that, but it is one of the probably best marketing tips I got from, I think it was Melissa Gratz who told me that she did that. But I get so many people that after the fact, they'll say things like, gosh, I read your story. I never knew that you were a nurse. Or, I read your story. I didn't realize you had done Scentsy for so long. Or, gosh, I read your story and, I kind of wonder if it's something that I could do. And catalog stickers with your story on it for me has been a personal game changer. So that would be something that I would do first. Amber said, you can get out, baby. I'll be in a minute. That would be something. Amber said you haven't read your story too. Amber, do it tonight. And like I said, there's just a few things I would do. A little bit about your family, a little bit about yourself, and a lot about Scentsy. And when you talk about Scentsy, make those 3 or 4 sentences things that'll touch other people's lives. I use my Scentsy paycheck for this. I signed up because I love Scentsy and I was buying so much. I decided to get the discount. I signed up because I want to get free and half price items. And I signed up to use my paychecks to help pay for a family vacation once a year. So when you're talking about the Scentsy aspect of it, put stuff in there that people will read and be like, yes. Someone else just said, you can go live and share your stories. I would, if you've never done that, do a story on your Facebook, Instagram, go live on your Facebook page, share your why. Right now, with the way our economy is, we've talked about this on Facebook Live a few times, but we are, like it or not, we're in a recession in the US. And right now is the time that people are looking for side gigs or looking for there you go, you can see my face. They're looking for extra income. There's looking for ways that they can offset all these crazy high prices. I mean, let's face it, when we go buy groceries right now, things are, almost twice as expensive as they were a year or 2 years ago. And that's affecting people of all incomes. A lot of people have set incomes and they only make so much every 2 weeks. So as inflation and grocery bills and gas is raising, their paychecks are not. And that's a problem. That's going to make things really tight. That's going to make credit card debt really high. That's going to make stressful marriages. That's going to make stressful days. So Scentsy is one of those things that in times of recession or in times of inflation, it really can be a lifesaver for a lot of people. Look beyond your selfish reasons for recruiting. Scentsy can be such a blessing to someone right now that's struggling. And so I think by you sharing your story on Facebook Live and sharing why you joined and what it's done for your family, even if it's been $100 a month, sharing that with people and maybe put some reasons in there. I was really, worried about joining. I didn't know if I knew a lot of people or knew enough people, and I joined and, I sell pretty consistently. I may not ever be a top seller, but I sell consistently. And the money that I'm able to bring home to the table helps me buy the groceries, at least once a month for my family. It helps me put gas in my tank. It helps me, it helps us not be so stressed before payday. If that's someone like you, then join my team. Let's do this together. Let's push each other to not live paycheck to paycheck. Let's push each other to really make this work. I mean, your story can be very, very captivating. And like I said, I could go live and I could say, I've been in it for 15 years. I have 3 beautiful kids. The youngest is the most beautiful of them all. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't say that live. But she's pretty cute, but I could go live and I could share my story, and I have before. I probably need to do it again. It's been a couple years since I've shared it live. But people are going to relate to the parts of my stories where I say stuff like, I did Scentsy so I could stay at home with my kids when I had kids, or I do Scentsy so I can be the PTO mom, or I do Scentsy so we can go on family vacations and my spouse and I can go on vacations together and blah, 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 blah. So those are the things that are really going to touch other people's lives, but you're not going to touch other people's lives if you're not sharing. things that I love when payday comes around and people post things like, thank you, Scentsy. I was able to pay off, my credit card bill, make sure you put the income disclosure, but thank you, Scentsy. I was able to fill up my tank of gas, cover up your numbers, but hold up your Scentsy pay card. Things like that. You're going to really capture people's attention by sharing parts of your story and how Scentsy is really affecting your life. Amber, I can't read all the comments, but I did see that you really want to make this work. If you are someone that is determined, driven, what I did whenever I needed to make this work and was very paycheck to paycheck when I first started, I set a goal to get 2 recruits a month and sell 2,000. And that may make you wide-eyed, like, oh my gosh, I can barely sell 200. If you really want it to make it work, you will find every YouTube video to watch. You will find every training to watch, and you'll put the excuses aside and you'll make it work. I promise you. When I first joined, we lived in and you've heard me say this, a 700 square foot apartment. It was very small. I joke that I couldn't even make fun of my husband or get mad at him underneath my breath because he could hear me. I mean, it was that small of an apartment, 1 bedroom. And my husband was in school and I just graduated, and we lived extremely paycheck to paycheck, and we would have, $50 in our account for a week. And, we didn't have a lot of date nights at first when we first got married. And when Scentsy came into my life, the $100 extra was, it was almost like a fresh of breath air, like, oh my gosh, like, this is great. I don't have to worry as much. And then I was like, gosh, I can literally make as much as I want. Okay, I'm gonna do everything I can. I'm gonna go door to door if I have to. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make this work, because that extra cushion took so much stress away from our marriage and just from day-to-day living. So then I was making $300 a month, and I was like, okay, well, I want more. I want more. I know I can do it. I'm gonna have to put myself out there 8 times as much. I'm gonna have to be told no 10 times as much, but I want this to work. And I think if you know your story and you know your why, then that's going to make you work on those days you don't want to work. I would come home from a 12-hour shift, and granted, whenever we're working ICU, you can't be on your phone. We would get like three short breaks and a lunch a day. So, and some days, if you had dying patients or if you had patients that weren't doing well, you wouldn't get any breaks. You would literally not sit down, maybe not even get to pee, much less be on your phone. And so there would be days I would come home at 7:30 at night, and I was so exhausted. And the last thing that I wanted to do is message people, call people, answer people, email people, put together orders, that kind of stuff, make samples. But I knew my why was, when I had kids one day, I was not going to work these 12-hour shifts. I knew my why. That's what it was. And so I would stay up till 11, and then I'd have to get up at 5 the next morning, and I would be exhausted, but I knew my why. And you have to know why you do what you do. Once I had kids, or once I was able to work so much with Scentsy on the side, working full-time as a nurse, once I was able to get those paychecks, I was able to quit my job. Then my why became completely different. It was, okay, shoot, now I got to really make this work. And a year later, we had our first son. And then it was like, crap, now my why is I want to keep staying at home with my son. I want to work from home. So your why constantly changes. But if you don't know why you're doing Scentsy right now, if you're just going through the motions, if your why and your story is not, if it doesn't make you a little bit emotional, then dig deep. You may have a different why, or find a different why. If right now you're a hobbyist and you're like, well, I'll do it when I can do it, but I have a full-time job, so I'll just do Scentsy when I can. That's not a why, right? You need to find out, why did you join? Did you join because you love the product? Did you join because this really could help you get out of debt? Did you join because you really could benefit from $200 or $300 a month? Did you join because you want to take your family to Disney, but there's no way on the paycheck you make right now that you can do that? If that's the case, that's an amazing why. Print out a picture of your family, print out a picture of Disney, put it on something that you see all the time. That is an amazing why. If your why is that you want to pay off credit card debt, then, put a fake credit card picture with balance of 0 up where you can see it all the time. And that's your goal. And that you don't want to be in debt anymore. Maybe put handcuffs underneath it because you feel cuffed to that credit or that credit card debt. But know what your why is. Make sure it's something that makes you a little bit emotional and makes you driven, because I promise you in direct sales, there's going to be more days than none that you don't want to work. There's going to be a million excuses why you don't want to make this work or do the samples or do all the things. There's going to be so many of that. But if you have a strong why, and this is kind of a 2-part training tonight, because I'm talking about your story, I'm talking about your why. But if you don't have a strong why you do what you do, you need to come up with one. You need to figure out, I've heard someone say, well, I don't necessarily need the money. I do good at my job. Okay, well, that's fine. But why do you want this to work? Well, I'm a very competitive person. Okay, let's dig deeper. What do you want to compete for? You want to earn a trip? Well, that would be cool, because if I set my mind to something, I'm doing it. Okay, well, you know what? The trip comes out next month. Let's post a picture of the trip, and I want you to earn it. Like, I want your why to be earning this trip. And so, for some people, it might not be about the money. For most people, it probably is. Is your phone in here, baby?
I don't know.
No, it's on here. You took it inside, babe. But you got to figure out what your why is. Is it money? Is it vacations? Is it you want to leave your spouse? I don't know what it is. I hope that's not what it is. But if that's your why, when you sit down after working 9 hours a day and you're like, gosh, I should probably try to get a party this month. I should probably make those samples of the month, or I should probably go and put samples in my neighbor's mailbox. I should probably do this, but I'm tired. I'm going to watch Netflix. You have to figure out if this is something where you want to make the business paychecks or the hobbyist paychecks. If you want to make the business paychecks and really change your life, it's a choice. If you make or break this business, it's not your upline's fault. It's not your director's fault. It's not your superstar director's fault. It's yours. It's your choice to get up every day, know your why, work your business, share your story, and you are capable of such big things. Like I said a while ago, in times of a recession, in times of inflation, direct sales, there's no limit on what you can make. There's none. You have no income cap. I'll tell you one story, and some of you heard me say this. I've been in so long, I've told a lot of my stories a lot of times. But kind of the nail in the coffin for me was the manager called me in and said that I was clocking in 5 minutes early and kind of reprimanding me for that. And I was like, okay, so Sally Sue and Joanna and Shelly over here, they clock in late every day. Are they getting reprimanded? I mean, I'm clocking in early. I'm doing a training, babe.
What's up, bros?
Hey, I'm doing a training.
Oh, my bad.
Shh, you know I was on a training.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. And are they going to get in trouble? I come to work early. I get done early. I am in there taking the best care. I feel like I was a really, 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 really good nurse, smart. I was good with patients. And here I am 5 minutes early. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. I don't need this. Right. I want to be my own boss. And so that really, really drove me to make this work even more. And, that I don't want to work for anyone else. In Scentsy, you don't have to. You don't work for me. You don't work for Kelsey. You don't work for Shonda, Karma, Heather, Susan, whoever. You don't work for them. You are your own boss. All right. And you work for no one else. And your income potential is limitless. But you're the only one that can set the bar on that. If you want to make more money, set a goal. I'm not going to stop this month till I get $50 a day in orders. $50 a day times 30 days is $1,500. You know how much commission you're going to get paid on $1,500? I have to do the math. I can't use my calculator right now. I think it's like $350. Kelsey? Anyways, $50 a day. You guys, $50 a day. That's a great goal.
That would be $375.
See, I was close. I said 350. And I think that's a good goal.
But if you're going to do $1,500, you may as well do 2,000 and get $600. That's just my thought on that.
Exactly my thoughts too.
And how much do you have to sell a day to sell 2,000 in 1 month? $67?
Let me
I'm throwing
tell
it
you.
out there. Okay. I know Delinda knows.
Yes, 67.
$67 if it's a 30-day month. If it's a 31, then it's a little less.
Yes.
Okay, so what tips, Karma and Kelsey?
But sell
What tips?
67 anyway.
That's
You what?
two 6-packs a
One
day
tip.
plus another bar.
There you go. And see, that's so doable if you break it down like that, Delinda. Delinda was the first person to ever break it down like that for me. And I was like, man, that's so doable. $67 a day, 2 6-packs and say a room spray a day. That is so doable.
Yeah.
And that's a $600 paycheck that you're going to make. That is life-changing money.
Yep.
Kelsey, Karma, what wisdom do you guys have to share about any of this?
I think it's really fun now that we have the little tracker on the dashboard of our workstation. So you can put your goal each month and then it tracks your little goal. I like that thing. My tip, I wish I had it because you said something and I was like, yes, that is it. But, oh, I know what you said. You said that you're going to have more days that you don't want to do this than days that you do. And I think that couldn't be more true for myself. There's so many days I'm like, I don't want to today. I don't want to today. And the biggest thing that makes me do it is why I'm doing this. I want the income. I want the vacations. Like if I'm the person that if I don't have my next trip in the works or booked, I almost feel lost in this world. And if I can't do that because I'm not working, I'm not going to be happy. But also, so that's my tip is know your why and do it even when you don't want to, because I will tell you most days I don't want to, but I want the outcome. But I also want to show you, my kids are coming up the stairs. I can hear them. This book, it's called Chasing the Bright Side by Jess Ekstrom. And it is embrace optimism, activate your purpose, and write your own story. So I'll take a picture of it and put it in the Mindset Monday group too. But this is a great book. That's another thing. One quick thing is optimism. I think you guys need to leave. I think too many times we focus on the negative or the negative and why we don't want to do it instead of why we do want to do it. You know, I don't want to do it because I need to binge watch Virgin River on Netflix. Well, no, you don't need to. You know, there's like that's to me, that's a negative thing, like why you wouldn't want to better yourself. So focus on the positive. And yet I'm like beating these scissors in my hands. Focus
Just don't
on
aim it at a
the
kid.
positive.
Don't aim it at a kid.
Focus on your why and do it even when you don't want to do it.
Yep.
Love it.
And
right.
my tip would be basically the same thing. You have to know your why. That's what gets you up and makes you work even when you don't want to, because you have to work even when you don't want to. And you can't say, well, I can't work today because I have a hangnail. You have to do it. But the biggest thing for me, because I'm very goal oriented, I set major crazy goals for me. But I have learned that whatever is, I have to make a to-do list, and I make a to-do list every night before I go to bed, and I knock out the most, like my least favorite thing. I do that task first, because if I do that first, then the rest of my day is smooth sailing. So if I have any phone calls I have to make the next day for follow-ups, because most of my follow-ups are done on text, but I have a few older customers that prefer phone calls, and I am not a phone call girl. Like I will not answer a phone call on purpose and then text you and ask you what you wanted. So I'll make sure I do my phone call follow-ups the first thing of the morning, because that's the thing I hate the most on my to-do list. But basically what Kelsey said, you just have to have a good attitude about it, and you have to do what you don't want to do, even when you don't want to do it, because that's part of your job. You have to work when you don't want to. And if you set a goal for yourself and you hit it, don't stop there. Like, I will take last month, for example. Last month I had my PRV goal set at $5,000. And whenever I hit that, I didn't stop going. Then I set another one for myself and another one for myself. And even on the last day of the month, I was still working up until midnight trying to reach that. And I think that was at that time, it was like the 8th goal I had set for myself, because I kept changing my PRV goal. And I could have easily stopped and went to bed, because, hey, I had already exceeded what I needed to at my first goal, but I kept working because I made that goal for myself. So just set small goals for yourself. And then when you hit them, don't stop, keep pushing. Because if you just stop there, then that's all you're ever going to be. Is the way I
Amen.
look at it.
I love it. It's so true too. I mean, you guys are, I can't even remember the quote, but it's, you know, your greatest fear is being successful, or what is it? Your greatest fear is being successful beyond measure or something. You know, people fear setting goals. They fear, you know, being very successful. And sometimes people don't shoot for it because what if I don't make it? Or what if this, what if that? But you guys on this call and in our groups are fully capable of so much. And I think, you know, if Karma, Kelsey, Sean, and I could get anything across, it would be that don't limit yourself to thinking small. You know, think big, do big. And, you know, you might be someone that has always sold $100 or $200 a month. And so to hear Karma throw out 5,000, you're like, oh. But here's the deal, right? Karma puts on her pants the same way you do. She poops the same way you do. You
More
know,
often,
she drinks.
probably.
I knew I did throw, if you know Karma, you throw out the word poop a lot to know Karma. But I mean, she's not much different. She's just, she goes after what she wants, and she's getting orders and this and that. And you guys can do the same. So raise your goals. If you've been selling $100, $200 a month and you're like, dad gummit, I'm tired of being paycheck to paycheck, do something about it. If you are just barely making it, do something about it. Scentsy is that kind of job for you. And like Kelsey said as well, you're going to have a lot of days, you know, too, that you're not going to want to work it. And we all have that. I have a lot of those days where I'm like, oh, do I need to really put together this order and deliver it? Do I need to go get a basket party together and get it out? Do I need to message people to see if I can get another party booked? Do I need to follow up with that fundraiser? Do I need to put the fundraiser together? Do I need to make samples? There's a lot of days where those questions come to my head too. So that is normal. But when I sit there and have those,
I have two things.
yes.
Continue, but remember that I have two
things.
to
Okay.
say.
But at the end of the day, or at that day when I'm wrestling with, I need to do this or I need to do that, I have to do these things. It's not that I even want to. Sometimes I want to do Scentsy. I love Scentsy, don't get me wrong, but I have to do these little things and these big things to make it work, because I want to make Scentsy work. Okay, go Kelsey.
Okay, one, got my scissors again, but one is,
Can you please put the scissors down? I'm afraid you're going to cut yourself.
Oh, they're my, you know how teachers back in the day used to have a stick to point to the chalkboard?
I like how you say back in the day, because the teacher's done that when I was in school. So I'm a little offended.
Well, you're old. We had whiteboards in my day.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, there's a quote on my wall that I bought like from Hobby Lobby right when I joined Scentsy that says, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. So I think that's a super important thing, is we can sit and we can doubt ourselves all day long. And
Yep.
I can't do this because of this, and, you know, fill yourself with doubt. Or you could do it and fail and learn from the failure, because we all have to fail to be successful. And the second thing is, this may be a quote somewhere, but I felt like super like smart when I came up with this the other day. And I think Rebecca's still on here. She's who I said it to, but I said it and I've like used it over and over this whole week. I said, we're so blessed because we get to live an extraordinary life. But why do we get to live an extraordinary life? because we're willing to do the extra that the ordinary aren't. So remember that when you step out of your comfort zone and you do those extra things, you get to be extraordinary.
Dang, Kelsey, you're a genius. That is a great quote.
I was like, I blew myself away with that one.
I mean, I think we should end on that quote. That's pretty good. Unless someone else has questions. I mean, we went just a little over 30 minutes. When I go inside, I'm hiding from my kids in the car. Obviously one found me, but when I go inside, I'm going to get this uploaded. So it will be uploaded this evening, and I uploaded the other one and I haven't posted it on Mindset Monday. So I'm going to upload both of them this evening. So you'll have both. But share it with your downline. Add them to the Mindset Monday Facebook page. It's not a team page. It is only for us to post recordings and materials that we share. I'm going to post my story labels that I put on my catalogs. I'll also share my join postcard with my story. Kelsey's going to share the book on there. But if you guys don't have any questions in the chat, yes, Delinda, I'm going to post both. I have the other one uploaded. I just need to post it. So I will post both on that Mindset Monday Facebook page. Look in the chat. Do we have any other questions that you see, Kelsey?
I don't think so. Can we get last week's recording, Delinda asked?
Yep, I told her I'd put it on the Mindset Monday Facebook page.
Okay.
Absolutely,
all we've got.
Crystal. Yep, we hope you guys had a good night. Thanks for taking time out of your life, your kids, your family, to join us tonight. We really appreciate it. Again, next week is leadership, so we won't do a Mindset Monday, but then following Monday we will. So we hope to see you on. We hope you guys have a great week, and we love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.